Are we recording?
I don't know. Okay, now let's see. How do I get us up on here? That's not the one. That's not right. Okay, find it on yours.
Sure, I'm looking for it.
Home. Okay, where the heck is it going to be? This is the trick, is finding it. Oh, did you find it on there?
Yeah, but I got one that says Stephen Walter and another one.
Does it say live? Down?
Yeah, it does say, it says live.
Okay, click on it. You'll be controlling it from there.
Yep, it's there.
Okay, I can't find anything here. Okay, well, all right, now you need to put it so you can see chat.
How's that?
Well, you gotta be able to see. Live chat. There. You should be seeing. Nobody's with us yet.
Okay.
So nobody has joined us yet. So we'll see if anybody does join us.
Hello.
Do we have somebody?
No.
Oh. Hello, if you're watching us, let us know. Either that or we're talking to ourselves. There is going to be a time delay. What's that going up down on my phone over there? It's like it's breathing. What's it doing?
I don't know.
I don't understand what's going on. It's like there's no... Should be sound. Microphone is on, but I don't know what that is. It keeps coming up and down. I don't know if we're live or not. Should be sound. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I know there's sound. But I don't know what that is. It keeps coming up. Okay. Oh.
There's three that say.
There's three?
Yeah, but I don't have any messages.
Okay, so more people come on. Well, it takes a bit of time. Hello, if you're on here, say hello so we know what's going on, because we really don't know what's going on. I don't know why my thing is pulsing.
It says there's top 3 messages, but I don't have anything listed.
Well, it might take a minute. I'll get that thing that's going up and down on the screen on the other one. That is weird. It's pulsating. Okay, well, it says we have 5 people. So, hello, 5 people. Anybody want to say anything? So we know.
There it is.
What?
Somebody just came up.
Oh, yay! Sandy's here. Hello, Sandy. So I'm assuming you can hear us, Sandy, and you can see us. This is very weird. What's happening now?
Hi, Sandy.
Every time I go live, when we're mobile, it's always different. So I don't know what that's all about, and why my phone over there that's doing this is it's got this thing pulsing up and down about the sound. So I don't know. Does it think I want?
Can you hear us?
Actually, did you turn down your volume?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I can see you and hear you.
Okay, then I won't worry about whatever that thing is that's there. Okay, well, hi, Sandy. Anybody
Hi, Sandy.
else?
Nobody. It says there's 7 people, but only one person is talking.
Well, subtract 1, it means 6, because one of them is us.
Oh, okay. Or, yeah, or 2 of us.
Well, no, one of us. Your device.
Yeah, okay.
Is coming up on there. So Hello. We're having wine. Anybody else say anything?
No.
Okay. Well, Sandy, you may be an audience of one. So, to keep from boring you with the technicalities here, we are. This is right now. It is 6:16 Utrecht time.
Utrecht.
Utrecht time. Why can't I say that?
Utrecht.
I don't speak Flemish.
Yeah.
I've said
Anyway, so yeah, it's what is it? 5?
it's after 6. It's 6:16 here. So that means it's if you're in the Eastern time zone in North America, it is lunch. Yeah, that's why everybody's
12 o'clock,
having lunch.
Yeah.
And it is Sunday.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is Sunday. So yeah, not our usual time for doing Stephen and Walter Live. But if we did it on our usual time, which is 4 Eastern there, it would be 10 o'clock for us here. And by then we will not be fresh as a lily. I can tell you that. So anyways, this is our last full day here in Utrecht. I said it,
Utrecht.
Here. Let's just say the Netherlands. Tomorrow we're taking the train back to Amsterdam, but we're going right to the airport. And we won't be able to check into our hotel at that point in time because it'll be too early in the morning. But we'll store our stuff there, and then we'll take the train again from the airport back into Amsterdam Central.
Oh, yeah. There's Suzanne Perot now.
Oh, hi, Suzanne. Yay! We got 2 that are acknowledging they're here. Yay!
Yeah. Well, we'll go to Amsterdam from the airport by train because the train trip is only about 10 or 15 minutes from the airport to downtown Amsterdam. So, and because there isn't a whole lot at the airport, we'll see a little bit more. There's a couple places we'd like to visit in Amsterdam before we leave. So
yeah, there's a place that has notions in. Now, if you saw the video we put up yesterday, you saw that we went to the textile market, and we actually did pick up a few things there, and we showed what we got. My philosophy was on this trip, I was not going to. First of all, we weren't going to go out of our way looking for quilt stores because we know over here those are far and few between and not conveniently located to where we are, if there are any. And second of all, prices here are astronomical. We think it's bad in North America what we pay for fabric. Here they pay almost double a meter of fabric, depending. Because of course they're in the euro, right? And it depends on, the differences between our currencies. But when in the textile market, when we were at it, we figured it out that what we bought, what did we figure out per meter? Now it was wider.
Yeah, it was fabric we bought wasn't quilting cotton, and it was more of what do you call it? Not a canvas type.
Yeah, it was sort of like canvas. Well, it was woven.
Yeah, and it was about 16 euros a meter, which is more like $25 Canadian a meter. So it was a little pricey, actually it was more like 30 Canadian dollars a meter. So
yeah, well, it depended on what you were buying.
Yeah,
because some of it was as much as we figured out about $35 a meter. So
how do you figure that?
I thought there was
you
one
multiply
that
1.6 times.
Whatever. I stand corrected. Again.
Diana Corday's here.
Oh, hi, Diana. Anyways, so yeah, you saw that. We bought that. You break the seal, you start to go for it because you start, but that's nice too, and I can make another bag out of that.
Yeah, we saw a lot of nice fabric, but there's nothing that was quilting cotton there.
No, they
really
had
that
very
we
little to
noticed.
choose from in
The
quilting cotton.
the cotton that they had available was not stuff that we really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that particular thing was a textiles market, but it wasn't really a quilting store.
It was more for people who are in garment making. You would have had a lot of selection in
Now,
there.
we did go to a quilting store here in Utrecht, and it didn't really have a lot of choice, and a lot of the choice was North American
It was
fabrics.
North America, and she told that's where I got that price.
Yeah.
When I was trying, she said her fabrics were.
I checked a couple of her fabrics. There was one that was a stuff fabric, and it was 19 euros for a meter, which is quite expensive compared to what we would pay. It would be more like
19 euros would be
it's not
about $35, $34.
No, it's about 30 more like 30.
Well, okay, whatever. I think it's a little higher than that, but whatever on that. So, but I did talk to the lady. She was very nice when we first got to the store, and you'll see that in the video. And that's all you're going to see. We were outside it, and I had a picture of the sign. There was a sign on the door. It said it was open, but there was a sign on the door that said ring the bell. I tried the handle. The door didn't seem to open, and it didn't look like anybody was in there. So I rang the bell, and we stood there, and we stood there, and we walked away, and then we sort of came back, and he's sure that he saw somebody move in there or walk through. So I rang the bell again, and we were going to leave again. Figured, okay, this is useless. Lady came to the door, and she kind of questioned why we rang the bell. And I said, well, your sign says she says, yeah, we're open. Yeah, open. I said, I know. I mean, you wrote in English, but there it is, open. But it says to ring the bell. So I rang the bell. She went, oh, no, you just could have come right in. She says, I said to the ladies in the back. She had a bunch of ladies. We never saw them. And I think they may have been doing a class or had a working session or something like that.
Actually, what she did say was that they didn't do machine quilting. All they did was hand sewing.
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with me talking about getting into the store at this point. But what she said, and she went into the room, and she says, there's two men outside. And it was like the way she said that to us, it was like, what are men doing here? Kind of a thing. But we said, yeah, we're quilters, and we want to come in and see your store and whatnot. She said, oh, okay, no problem. And she was very nice. And I said, do you mind if I take video? And she says, no, that's fine. Well, I didn't realize it, but I got so carried away with talking to her about the store and everything. And that store had been there for many, many years. And in fact, it had new owners now, but I don't mean like they bought it yesterday. I think they've had it for a while. So it's been there. And I think she said something like 40 years or whatever. But inadvertently, I did something to the video, and yeah, I didn't have video of the inside of the store. And it was a cute little store, but the key word here was little, like really little. But she had a lot of fabric. But as Walter already said,
a lot of it was moda.
Yeah.
A lot of it was ones that we could get. She did point out that there was a few fabrics that she had that was German, but it was fabric. The patterns and that on the fabric were not something that appealed to either of us.
So I felt really bad that I didn't buy anything in the store because she was so nice. But anyways, we thanked her so much for that. I gave her my business card for the Idiot Quilter, told her that, well, this will be on YouTube and kind of a thing. Well, no, it's not going to be on YouTube because of the technical problem. But anyways, that was the only quilt store we went. But when we went to the textile market, as you already said, it was huge. Huge. It went for days. And I got the hiccups. And I saw those woven, looked like embroidered panels. They were only €5 a piece. And so I bought one of a cat looking like Audrey Hepburn because shouldn't you have a panel that has a cat that looks like Audrey Hepburn smoking along, you know, from a cigarette holder kind of a thing? And a dog dressed up like a prince. Maybe the two of them were supposed to be the king and queen here. I don't know. And then, of course, there was a dachshund. And our next door neighbors just got a new little dachshund puppy because their other one had, you know,
Bit the dust.
Freshness overdue kind of a deal, expired. And they got this cute little one, another one, and Mocha. And at first I pulled up one panel, and then Walter, which always does, he hunted through the pile and found a different one that looked much more like Mocha than the one I had. So I got both of those because the idea here is we're going to make them into a bag and give it to our next door neighbors, kind of a thing. So we got those. Like I said, they were only €5.
Well, also because our next door neighbor has been cutting our front lawn.
Well, that too, yeah. Kind of, you know, give them something nice if we ever get around to making it. And then there was a couple of other fabrics which were not cotton. They're more like a canvas. Great for bags. One of all these houses, and you probably saw it in the video, houses like the kind of houses you see in Amsterdam and here and everywhere like that. And we had said before we went on this trip that we would only buy fabric if it was something we could not get in our own country, or, you know, through the internet or whatever. We saw it was unique and we thought that was unique, so we bought that. And didn't you know, though, they had this fabric which I thought was hilarious. It's a dachshund from the back end. It's got a heart over its, you know, on its butt, and it says, it goes, I love, and the dog, like, I love dachshunds. And I thought, oh, that would look good on the bag as well, because it's funny. So I'm sure they'll get a kick out of that. So we bought that. Then Walter also saw this one that was, what, the Dutch Masters.
The Dutch Masters. It's had blocks of paintings on them of Dutch painters. And it just looked really neat, and I thought, well, I wanted some of that because it was unique, and we would never be able to buy that in where we live. And
keep talking.
And so yeah, that stopped doing it.
I figured out why. But anyways, never mind. What you saying?
So it, I asked for a couple of meters of that. It wasn't as dense or as thick as the other stuff, so it wouldn't take as much room in our suitcase. So
yeah, that's the other thing we have to be aware of. We're traveling with backpacks, for all this trip, as you know, and so we're
at the tail end of our trip, so. It's not like we have to carry it all over the place.
And Walter will throw out all his underwear and socks anyway, so there'll be lots of room.
There's a Susan Currens here as well.
Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Because it's better than talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that was really interesting, that market. But then you started looking. We went through it twice, the market, and Walter bought some buttons, as you also saw there. And then you start looking at the other fabrics and thinking beyond quilts, and you start thinking about bags and that kind of stuff. And I thought, ooh, there's other things here I could get. I held back.
Yeah, we held back, yeah.
Once you break the seal.
But there is a store that sells notions in Amsterdam. I want to check out a few more buttons, and buttons are easy to carry.
Buttons, who's got the buttons?
And maybe tomorrow if we get a chance to get there. And yeah, I mean, we'll have one final day, which maybe go back to Amsterdam and check that out. And the only thing is, there is a fabric store in Amsterdam called Petra Prints, but they're only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. and so obviously we can't get back there to it. And we had a day the first week we were there on a Wednesday that we could have gone there, but I completely forgot about it. And it wasn't until afterwards I thought, oh crap, we can't get there. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think they really carry anything unique that we can't get. So,
And the lady in the store that we went to, what's it called, Miracle?
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle, yeah.
Quilts or something like that. She said, yeah, because I said that to her about, we're looking for stuff that's unique. She says, all their stuff comes from, the same places that we get it in North America, i.e. China.
Yeah.
With that. So, yeah, there wasn't anything there that was unique. But anyways, so that's what we did. But what we've got, we can work with it. So today it's been rainy the last couple of days. We were really, really lucky on this trip. We had a lot of sunny days until we hit here. And now we have what the Dutch told us around here is, this is pretty much typical.
Well, I know what's typical Dutch weather from
Yeah.
when I was a child and stuff. That typical Dutch weather is rainy.
Mm-hmm. And so, anyways, we've been walking. We're not letting that stop us. And you saw in the video what we did today at the railway or rail train museum, and all that kind of stuff. And I think somebody had a comment.
Yeah, Sandra Lee Elkins, Jewel, says, guys, I've been following you every time you post video. You are so interesting. And I have this weird heart here.
Can you read?
Yeah, I have a heart.
Yeah, I know. I didn't turn off reactions.
Every time you post a video, you're so interesting, and so is the Netherlands. Thank you so much for sharing. God bless and take care. Sandy from Illinois.
Okay, Sandy from Illinois, thank you very much for that very nice comment. We've had a lot of comments of people saying that they've really appreciated coming along with us on the trip. I mean, I know we're not giving you a whole lot of facts throughout when we've been talking about things. Like, we had one comment from somebody who said they would have liked to have really known who the painters were and the history behind the painting and all that stuff. And we
However, the location that we were in, they didn't give that information.
They didn't give that information. Everything's electronic over here. Everything we pay for is done. We have only once, we brought 300 euros with us, the equivalent of about just under $500 Canadian, but we knew we probably wouldn't need to use that because when we travel, we like to use our credit card as much as possible because you have a record afterwards. It's just easier on bookkeeping and you're not carrying a lot of cash around when you're traveling. Well, here in Holland,
well, I mean,
basically
20 years ago, we used traveler's checks to go through Europe.
Yeah.
And everything had to be in cash. Nobody took any electronic payments. But now it's completely reversed. Everything's electronic payments. In fact, most of the stores here won't accept cash. Everything has to be electronic.
Yeah, they tell you right up front when you go in, you're near the cash register, credit only, or what they will call PIN.
Debit. They call it PIN. They use your PIN number.
Yeah.
And that means
use your credit card.
You have to use your credit card or your a debit card.
Now, one thing I will tell you that's been really convenient on this trip is my iWatch. Because I am not sponsored by Apple, as if they would.
You're using Apple Pay.
I'm using Apple Pay, but I'm using it on my iWatch. Well, basically what that is my credit cards are in my phone, on my phone, connected to my iWatch. So when I pay for anything, I don't have to even pull out a credit card or even my iPhone. I hit a button twice on here, bang, my cards come up, I pick the one I want, and I just take my watch and put it up against the reader, the
and that goes for restaurants,
yeah, everything, including it will even work on the train system.
Exactly.
Like, we have been buying the tickets sort of in advance for it.
But I've been using my phone.
Yeah, but Walter's been using his phone for it. So when we go through the turnstiles, you have to put that against it. and so they'll open up and you can go through. And so, but the other reason too is because we've been traveling for the most part, we've been going by first class tickets.
Yeah, so what happens here is that what you can do is you have to tap on and tap off. If you can get a proprietary card here that you can load up with cash, and you can tap on and tap off with a card. Alternately, you can tap on and tap off with your debit card or your credit card or Apple Pay, right? And but the only thing is when you use the tap on tap off system, you have to travel second class. If you want to travel first class, you have to purchase the ticket in advance, either on your phone or at the train station. You can get a paper ticket that you can purchase on a machine and use that. Now, the reason why we've been doing the first class, it's a little more expensive, but the cabin's more private. There's less people talking,
And when you're
and
lugging,
there's more room.
Yeah.
So you can put, if you're taking your backpacker and stuff like that, you can place your backpack in front of you, so that you don't have to have it stored on a rack or something.
or down in another part of the train. Although I didn't see any spots on the trains here
No,
where they have an area for luggage.
no, you'd have to do it in the rack overhead. Or
And when he talks racks overhead, I pictured when we first were looking into this that they were like overhead bins on a airplane, or at least as wide as that. They are not. They are a foot, maybe less, 12 inches wide out. And I swear, these people over here are all very, very tall. And like I can't reach them. I can't reach them. I'd have to stand on the seat to reach them up there. But because these seats are a little wider, you have basically 2 seats on one side of the aisle and 1 seat on the other side. So you're not sitting like in second class, the seats are, you could be sitting in a cluster of 4. 2 this way, 2 facing the other way kind of a thing. And then single seats or double seats kind of a thing on the other side. So it just gives you more room. You can put the stuff down in front of you. It's not a cattle crawl. Although there's only been 1 day when we've had a cattle call. And that was the day we bought a first class ticket to go to, where were we going?
we were going to The Hague.
The Hague. And we made a mistake. We went at basically what would be considered rush hour. Rush hour here is different than rush hour in North America. It starts a little later, goes a little later. And so, if we were to get onto the GO train, which is a commuter train in our area, and say going from where we live to Toronto, if we got on the train at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, it would be a cattle call.
It'll be a zoo.
But if you got on the train by about 9 o'clock, it would not be. Everybody's gone. Here, no. Really, it doesn't start to die down until after about 9:30 or so.
Yeah, because the thing is that a lot of the shops around here don't open till 10 o'clock. And that includes cafes, any place that you want to buy breakfast.
Good God, if
you can't get breakfast before 10 o'clock.
You can't get a coffee before 10 o'clock. You might be able to in a few places, but you'll be hunting for it. We knew that before we came here, though, too, because we had experienced that 20 years ago, last time when we were here with that. We got to Amsterdam really early in the morning that first day then, and we were looking for a place to have coffee, and no, not going to do that. But anyways, yeah, everything's electronic here, and we haven't had one problem with it. It's just been being big. We got to the grocery store, same thing. Everything. Museums, whatever. I just up my card, boink, and away we go. And I love that. And also, it's a little bit more secure because we are going through Apple Pay as well, tied into our credit cards. But I'm not giving a stranger my credit card
Yeah, and they're not taking it away, especially in restaurants. In restaurants, it's the same way. And that's what we experience in Canada
Yeah.
as well. We can do our payments that way as well
Yeah.
in Canada. But here it's been very, very transparent. We can do it all over the place. So,
Yeah. It's a little bit more advanced than it is in Canada.
yeah.
For that, Canada is moving towards this much more so. But yeah. So if you're coming here and you're not used to doing that, you might want to set yourself up, do some research about doing that. Because as I said, in some places they don't take cash at all.
Yeah, a lot of
At all.
places, they have some big signs in the door that says, no cash.
And for those of you that are Americans, I know you think the American money is just going to get you anywhere in the world. You better double think that, okay? It's not. We're telling you the truth. They don't care where you come from. They don't want cash. And I don't know what would happen if you really tried to force it upon them. I guess maybe like...
I did see somebody in the cafe purchase something using cash today.
Yeah.
But they used euros, yeah.
But they used euros. So, yeah. So just a thought there to keep in mind. It's really, really convenient though.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say
But that's
that.
the first time I saw anybody use cash since we got here.
Yeah. So anyways, yesterday we went up in what's called the Dome Tower.
Dome
Tower.
Dome. You know,
Tower.
like Sop and Dom.
You know, like dum.
Dome Tower.
And I'm sure if you've seen the video we made of that, okay, here's what I have learned about being in this country. And I said that on the video, actually, I think earlier today. If you have trouble walking, okay, if you're an older person, we're older people, if you have trouble walking, if you need assistance, as in with a walker or with a wheelchair, you might find accessibility here.
Well, first of all, the streets are almost all cobblestone.
Yeah, so you're going to be
especially
rattling
in
down
the
that.
inner city. Maybe in the outside of the inner city, it's probably paved, but most of the inner city is cobblestones. Both sidewalks, bike paths, and the street are cobblestones. So if you're in a walker, if you're doing a walker, it doesn't go very well over there.
Now, that's not to say we did not expect it to be that way, because we did. We've been to Europe before. Yeah. Europe's old. I mean, we're in North America. Canada's a relatively new country in comparison to European countries. The same with the United States and all of that. Cobblestones are more a decorative element, if you find any of them, than actually what's been there for 700 years.
Now, mind you, the train stations have all been very modern.
Oh, yes.
Most have elevators.
Yeah.
So they're somewhat accessible.
But there's just some places where there's no way a wheelchair, or if you're having a lot of trouble walking, that you're going to get up there. So going up the Dome Tower, whatever. I've been learning a lot of Dutch lately, at least for reading. Anyways, going up that was, they tell you it's 474 steps or something like that, 475 steps. And you have to go on, you can't just walk in and walk up. You have to go on a guided tour, and you pay for that, and we did. And the guy said that there would be different levels where they'd stop so you could get your breath, and he could tell you a little bit more about all these things. That wasn't the problem for me. The problem for me was going up. It's one way up and one way down, and you don't want to meet anybody halfway because you're not going to move. Because it reminded me, and that's what got me a little panicky. I didn't say this to you before, but remember the monument in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
What was that? That
was even skinnier.
Oh, that was skinnier too, but not much.
No, it was really skinny.
Yeah, well, you have your perception, I have mine. Either way, I'm claustrophobic. Okay? He's
claustrophobic, and I have a fear of heights.
Yeah. So we went to the end of the line because I just knew I might have a panic attack, and I was trying not to, but the first level wasn't so bad because it had the least amount of steps and it was a little wider. But as you went up further, they got more narrow and more narrow. And I was talking about one way up, one way down. I don't know where these people came from. But there was some of them that were coming down. And I don't know why. Because it was like 7 or 8, maybe a dozen people, but they were spaced out. And what they were doing was pressing themselves up against the wall really tight so we could go beyond. Now, our tour guide, he was hooked in talking to some people. Now, at one point, we see an extension cord that's winding around. And this is spiral. Okay, you're going round and around. This extension cord that's going up. And I'm thinking, well, are these people, is there construction going on? Are they doing something? And these are the people working on the construction? I don't think they were. I still don't know.
Actually, I think it was the previous tour, and the tour guide didn't
bring them down?
Bring them all the way down, no. And I think some of them wanted to stay up there, and they decided to leave later. I don't think, I have a feeling that they were not happy, the tour guides were not happy about that situation.
No, I don't think our tour guide was.
The tour guide we had was had a walkie-talkie, and he was communicating with other people as to the next tour that was supposed to come up, and he was telling them that they hadn't completely come down yet. So
do not do that. So yeah, I got up there, and that was fine. And then we had a few people in this tour group. You go way up to the top, the tippy top, and they have it all kind of fenced in at the top. So, you know, in case you want to jump, you can't. And you look out, and yes, you have a great view of the entire city, 360 degrees all the way around. There were these 3 ladies, and I don't know, this is one time when you want to say to them, and it should have been true, take a picture, it'll last longer. They were taking a picture, but they're standing there like absorbing.
They were standing there looking and not taking pictures. They were just standing there staring. And they had the tour director had already said, okay, we're going back down again. And they just kept standing there. They weren't moving. They were just, and then suddenly they decided to start taking pictures.
Yeah. Then
at the end.
At the end.
And then they couldn't get them to go down. And we were trying to go down last in case Steve had a problem.
Because if I had a problem, I would probably, and I warned people about this, and I don't think they believed me. And I said, look, if I have a panic attack, that's why I'm at the end, I will kill people. Literally, I will claw my way through your skulls to get over top of you and everywhere out. Your eyeballs will be rolling down the steps. There will be blood, there'll be guts, and there'll be gore. And then I told the tour guide, because he heard that, I says, and by the way, I said, if there's a full moon, I will grow fangs, get really hairy, and want to eat people. Just telling you. But anyways, I didn't understand their mentality. And actually, the tour guide was very patient with them. But you could see, he said to them, okay, well, we're going back. And then it turned out they were French. Poo-poo. If Nadine ever sees this, our friend from France, sorry, but you people work on a different time scale. We can say that. We're Canadians. We understand Quebecois. Okay. So... anyways, moving on from that. So yeah, that was an experience, but if you were somebody that really, to go back to what I said, if you have some trouble walking or whatever,
yeah,
don't
but would
do
they
that.
go on a tour that went 475 steps if they were invalid?
Yeah, but we've been on tours before in other places where there's an awful lot of walking.
Yeah.
Like i.e. the Acropolis.
Yeah, I know. We've been on cruises before where people go on book on a cruise, on a tour, and it says there's lots of walking, and then they get off the bus and they go, I didn't realize there was this much walking.
Yeah. But
So,
anyways, so yeah, but we really don't want to come home.
actually, we've been having a really good time.
Yeah, we've been having a
And
really good time.
It's been really nice from my perspective because it was sort of my heritage. But it's been nice to tour around here. The train systems work very well. It's been easy to get around, and we've been really having a really good time.
Yeah, I'm just not looking forward to going home because then I'll have to see the bills and figure out how we're paying for it. Because this is not a cheap trip, okay?
Yeah, but none of our trips are cheap.
Well, no, they're not. Well, traveling is not cheap. So, anyways, we'll talk about that on the next real Stephen and Walter live, which will be a week from today.
A week from today. Yeah.
On June the 1st. Yeah. But so we saw something on TV today where it was on actually YouTube here. Yes, we can get YouTube here. And someone from Germany was talking about how much they love to come to the Netherlands to get certain foods that they couldn't get in Germany. Actually, the way she made it just it sounds like the food in Germany is like, bleh. But
the food here in general has been very good.
So, and oh yeah, speaking of food, you've heard us talk about croquettes, right? These little deep fried logs with meat in them.
They're meat paste,
yeah,
actually. It's sort of like actually a meat pie inside it, if you want to.
But we've been seeing these ads for McDonald's here, and they have the €2 menu, and one of the items on their €2 menu is a McCroquette.
Yeah, which is a hamburger bun with a patty in between that is actually like a flat croquette.
Yeah.
And we were just outside of McDonald's earlier today, and we said, I said to Steve, we both had the same idea at the same time. Why don't we go in and get a McCroquette, just see what it tastes
Just see,
like.
for shits and giggles, kind of thing. So we did, that's on the video that is already posted there, and you'll see what we thought about it. But that also, watching that same YouTube channel, they were talking about different foods that they like to get when they come here. So we went to the local Jumbo. Jumbo is a grocery store here. And I think you've heard us talk about it on some of the other videos. We had a pizza from them last night, or no, 2 nights ago, and everything, which was very good. So we thought we'd pick up a couple of things. Now, the thing is, we couldn't get a whole lot of different things because, well, we're leaving tomorrow. We're not packing that stuff with us. So we picked up some fun things, and we're going to try them now for you to see. But I saw someone had a comment that came up.
It was Russ Rice.
Oh, Russ! Hi, Russ!
Hi, Stephen. I'm on my way home finally. And he's saying, and I'm on the wrong account.
He's on the wrong account.
I don't know.
Well, whatever. But anyways, so, but I'm happy to hear that Russ is here right now, because Russ, we have found the Dutch version of spray cheese. These two.
Turn it around. Turn one of them around.
These 2 tubes. Okay.
Go up close to the camera.
Oh, geez, I have to get up. Oh.
Yeah, they look cute. They've got Danish Chef. Right?
Here, let me get these.
They're called Danish Chef. One's got spiced cheese, and the other one is just plain cheese.
Yeah.
And they got little hats on them and everything.
And this is cheese in a tube as opposed to cheese in a spray. So, you know how I love my spray cheese. So, we got some crackers, and we're going to try these to see what they're like. So, we're going to start, first of all, with the one that's called Cheese Spread Natural. Oops. Well, I dropped my cheese spread. But it's okay. It's in a tube. Naturel. So, we've already punctured these. Oh, my cracker broke. I've got tough crackers, which we can get along our country as well. Okay, so this is the natural white stuff. Okay, you can try one. No, don't you try it yet. Wait till I get a little. I said don't Try
try
it.
push it around.
Oh, fine. All right. It's white natural. Let's see. Ooh, that's very creamy.
Very good.
Ooh, that's kind of good. That's better than spray cheese. I hate to say it. I wonder what its shelf life is like if you put it in a backpack.
No. You have to read the fine print.
Yeah. Okay, so the other one,
It was in the cool section.
Yeah.
It was in the refrigerated section.
This one is the Geek Rude.
No. Gegroeid, which means spicy, not spicy, but it means it's has spices in it.
It's like
It
sweet
doesn't necessarily mean it's hot. It's means that it may have like oregano or something in it.
Okay. This tracker's breaking. That's why I'm giving this one to you. Because you're holding the phone and, okay, I can't pick it up. There you go. Okay, we'll try this.
Has a different flavor.
Different. No, not
It
horrible.
doesn't taste plain, but it's not like it's hot or
It's
anything.
not like hot, spicy hot. It's
But I didn't think it would necessarily be spicy hot. I think it's got a flavor to it.
yeah. It's I can't.
I mean, like if you put crouton means spices, so it could be any kind of spice in it.
So not really sure. I kind of like both of them. I think I'm leaning towards the natural
Yeah.
better. Was there other flavors in these?
No, that's the only two that they have.
So yeah,
It's the Finnish chef
it's
or
different.
Danish chef.
Okay, the next thing we've got is these. Now you know I love chocolate milk. A day without a glass of chocolate milk is a day without sunshine. But we saw them talking about this. It's chocolate vanilla smack.
Smack is taste.
And what's double
Double vla. Vla is this stuff is called a vla. 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 And that, from what I gather, it's sort of like a very thin custard.
Now, before we try it though, because this one has chocolate in it, there's one that's also in they just call it vanilla smack.
Hi Charlotte. Hi Vicky.
Hi Charlotte and Vicky. Okay, this one's called vanilla smack.
But it's vla. If you look at it, it's vla. Vanilla smack vla.
Not vla, it's got, VLA, vla.
Yeah,
And what's vla?
That's what it is. And this one is
Double
vla.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. So we'll try this one first. You can feel it when you shake it up that it's got a little bit thicker viscosity.
And don't put it in there. Put it in these glasses.
Oh, fine, we have special glasses. I have hiccups. Ooh, it's like pudding.
Yeah, it's a very thin.
Oh, it's very thick.
Yeah.
Oh, 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 oh. I may have poured a little too much in that.
Okay.
Okay.
Need a little alcohol in there.
Yeah. It's tasty.
It's like a thin pudding.
It's like drinking pudding. It's nice.
Yeah, it is.
I can see that as a dessert.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Hi Charlotte. Hi Nina.
Hi, Nina. Okay, this is the chocolate vanilla.
No, it's chocolate. Double chocolate.
It says chocolate vanilla.
Oh, okay. Well, it's got a little bit of a vanilla.
Ooh.
Well, you're putting it in the wrong glass.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
What, is that the wrong glass?
That's your wine glass.
Screw.
That's my wine glass.
Oh, what?
This is... Jeez.
Oh, I'm not sure. You got all these glasses out here. I don't
Okay.
know. Now you got mixed with wine. Okay. Let's try this.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good. But it's thick.
It's like really thick chocolate milk.
Like really, a spoon would be more appropriate. Kind of like that. We can't get that in our Dutch store. Oh,
That is interesting.
It's kind of like Jello pudding, but not quite.
It's called vlado. It is like a thin, it's like a thin pudding.
You definitely need a spoon
Mm-hmm.
with it. Now that might be delicious, whipped up with ice cream.
It's too bad that we didn't find this stuff.
I know
before.
earlier. Okay, so that. Now we have another thing here. These are called chocolate s'mores banana. Little cakes.
Hi, Judy. Hi, KW.
Hi, KW. Hi, Judy. So, one for you.
On my diet.
Yeah, screw up.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Okay, this is what they look like. And they're s'mores, but they're supposed to be banana flavored s'mores. Not bad.
Sort of a wafer cookie with sort of a marshmallow interior.
They kind of remind me of, what do they call them? Marshmallows or whatever?
Yeah, they're chocolate covered wafer cookie with a marshmallow interior. That's a banana flavor.
Mm-hmm. But very tasty. Kind of sweet.
You need to come back here for the food.
Yeah.
Blues is here. Linda Carlson's here.
Hello, ladies. Yeah, actually, that was really yum yum.
The brand is actually a chocolate bar factory, factory that was very that was around for a long time.
Have we ever seen these though? I've never seen those in the Dutch store.
In the Dutch store, no.
In our area. Yeah, those were good. Yeah.
They look like scooter pies, she says.
Yeah, in a sense,
Yeah.
little small ones, but they don't taste like scooter pies. They're
crunchy.
They're crunchy, but they're very rich.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, they are sweet. But anyways, so yeah, we had all these. We tried them. We've been trying other foods here too. I mean,
Still haven't had herring yet, but
Haven't
I
had-
don't think
yeah,
I'm gonna
well,
end up having herring because
I'm not having herring.
actually what I've noticed here is that when I was a kid, no matter where you went, everywhere had herring, and the only place they seem to predominantly have it is in Amsterdam. And they did have some here in Utrecht, but it's like they're promoting it as a tourist food.
Yeah. This is not our dinner. Our dinner is a cheese sandwich.
A baguette.
A baguette with cheese on that we got at the Jumbo. And as you will see in the video, if you haven't watched it already, it shows you that the grocery stores here are different from what we're used to. Although I think for Americans, the jumbo might be in certain sections of it very much like a Publix.
Yeah, the only thing is that the jumbo we went to here is actually a small
It's a
version,
smaller version of a jumbo.
because it's in a mall and it's a smaller version. The regular jumbos are much bigger and they have more food.
things to choose from, yeah.
You know.
But there were so many things. You just eat your way through the aisles. But anyways, so I don't think there's anything else we have to share with you right now about everything. We thought we'd do this live because our next live is probably not going to be until, as we said, next Sunday, June the 1st, and that we'll be home then, and we'll do sort of a recap and analysis of our overall trip and how we felt about it and everything like that. Thank you for following us on these videos. There will be another video will come out tomorrow with Amsterdam again when we return to it, and maybe I'll get some footage of the Notion store if we get there and everything like that, and then of the airport as well, because we're staying at the airport. Well, not right on the runway, we do have a room, but you know, that kind of thing. So thanks everybody for joining us. I know this is a weird time of the day to be doing a live for most of you in North America, but here it is now after 7 o'clock in the evening, and and
Judy Herbert's here too. Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments before we leave?
No, everybody's enjoying our videos, and thanks for sharing.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for joining us today, for you or whatever. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.